Christmas with Susanna used to be so good. Even though there were only two of us, she would always say, "Jim, we're not just going to have a good time, but a wonderful time." And we always did. We would always get into the festive mood. We would always become the spirit of Christmas. No, that's not true. I remember one Christmas when we were playing Scrabble, Susanna was determined to win. As soon as we came through the door, we put on Christmas hats, have a little sherry, go to the sitting room, take the presents from the tree, place them on the floor. Even though there were only two of us, we didn't just buy one present, but always 3 or 4. Now, I can't remember a year, not one year, where we didn't like the presents we bought for each other. Once she bought me this beautiful Dax jacket, which I still have, and when I bought a book on Pavlova and tickets for Swan Lake, well, she almost burst out crying. See, we always considered what we buy for each other. We always thought what would give pleasure and joy to each other. So how's she going to respond when I tell her for the first time in 17 years I'm not going to spend Christmas Day with her? Oh, I'm sure she'll give me her blessing. She'll say, "Jim, I really want you to enjoy yourself." She'll say, "Jim, I want to see you have a lovely time with her." And then I'm sure she'll ask me to come around the next day and let me tell her all about it. She won't listen to me. She won't know how to. She'll say, "Jim, I know you've had a few drinks. You're feeling merry. I know that you're playing a prank. Stop it now, don't be silly." When I try to tell her I'm not, when I try to say that I've been invited by this attractive woman to have a drink with her, will she listen to me? She won't know how to. Then when I tell her for the 3rd time it's not a joke, well, then her face will turn grim and there'll be a long, heavy silence. "But it's only a drink you're going for," she'll say. "Maybe a few hours at most. You know you're not one of her circle of friends. She lives in a big house in Wimbledon. Her friends are probably all successful people. Tell me," she'll say, "how can you be with them? You've never been a professional person. Never been a successful person. So you still want to go there even though you know they're going to ridicule you." I need to go. "But you haven't told me why," she'll say. "Why can't you be honest with me? Honest with yourself?" Honest with myself. I don't have the courage when it comes to tell you that for the last 2 years I haven't wanted to spend the day with you. I always saw it as a wasted and punishing day. For the last 2 to 3 years I forced myself to go. Forced myself to put on that stupid hat when I came through the door. Forced myself to cook the meal with you. Forced myself to sit by your side while we listened to that stupid old woman talk about our hopes for a kinder and better world when she's so fucking far removed from it. Before I came through that door, I wanted to run away, but I didn't. Before I started cooking a meal, I wanted to get up and go, but I didn't. I didn't have the courage to do it. I stayed there, smiling, agreeing with your thoughts and sentiments, saying, yes, it was a good speech, saying, yes, it was so nice to be there with you, telling you it was always the best, always the most precious day of the year. How could you see? How could you ever see what was missing in my life? How could you ever see what was missing in yours when we never talked about it? We never told each other what we were feeling, or the problems that were keeping us down. You said from the first Christmas that we wouldn't talk about the dark things in our life, but why did you say that? Why did you stop us talking about those areas of our lives? Oh, sure, it's okay to talk about what happened at work, or we could talk about other people's difficult situations, but every time our thoughts, our conversation started to get serious, you shook your head in that matronly way of yours and said, Jim, it's Christmas. We're not going to spoil it by talking about serious things. And straight away you brought it back to a lighter note by talking about something funny that happened to you. You're always so good at doing that. Every time I wanted to talk about my problems or hear about yours, you shook your head and found a funny situation to talk about. For 17 years on Christmas Day, there wasn't a world outside. We never went to church, never visited, never took presents to anybody. For 17 years, on every Christmas Day, whether it was at your place or mine, you saw to it we never went out. When, on a few occasions, I suggested we go for a walk, you always replied, oh, Jim, it's too cold. It's so lovely and warm in here.